Hey, Rachel Baribeau here, founder of Changing the Narrative. Wanted to take a few moments to check in with you with a quick video and just tell you a little bit about what is going on with this movement, what has happened. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for your messages, for your support, for your hugs, for your comments, for your prayers, for your well wishes, for your good vibes. I could not have done this without you. And what started as a tiny, audacious idea at Florida State, purpose, passion, platform, my own story about seeking fame and really being empty and broken and turned into a message, and even more so than just that message and domestic violence as I was the victim of it. It also became how to be a king or queen every day of your life, how to really love yourself, how to look in the mirror and be proud of the person that's staring back at you. And along the way, the last year, the last 6 months particularly, and 10 months before that, I went through my own battle with my mom's cancer and her ultimately losing her battle on May 1st. And because of that, and even before that, Changing the Narrative had taken a strong focus on mental health. In talking to these athletes, kings and queens across the country, over 40 universities, many of them like LSU and Minnesota are so progressive. They have me in multiple times. They understand the more they have me in, the closer I can get to their athletes and to their students, administrators, their coaches, all of the kings and queens there on campus. But one of the things that I learned as I was on the road was that mental health and mental wellness and mental fitness and self-care and all of it is something that we absolutely have to start talking about. We absolutely have to take off the mask, destroy perfect, get real. Thank you, Maryland, Minnesota, for hosting the first ever national game between two Big Ten teams to focus on mental health. Thank you to the Big Ten. Thank you so much. And so I've learned over the past, like I said, 6 months, 18 months, really just how much we have to start talking about this, and we have to normalize it. We have to destigmatize it. And then I lost my mom, and I went through my own dark night of the soul. And I believe I survived that. And I tell people all the time this. I believe I've survived that. I made it out of the fire. But instead of just making it out of the fire and saying I'm done, it was a really dark night. I believe it was my mission and my legacy to start talking about it. To talk about, I've been there before. You're not defective. You're not broken. I've been there before. And so with that said, I've got buckets of water that I am carrying back for people that are still burning in regards to mental health and still hiding and still wearing a mask and smiling in your face, but they're dying inside. And we see suicide affecting every age. This really is a message for every age. I speak to corporations, to churches, to symposiums, to retreats, to conventions. And really, everybody wants, from an employer to a parent to a coach, we want more well-rounded human beings. We need it. This world needs it, right? We want to end this mass epidemic of suicide. I read the other day, suicide in teens has doubled in the last decade. And recently somebody from where I'm from in her 50s committed suicide. I mean, you're hearing about it every day. It touches every age group. And so Changing the Narrative is literally fluid, and it's changed. And we still talk about purpose, passion, platform, and changing the world and finding what sets your soul on fire. But we also are talking about mental health and wellness and what that means to serve and to give, and what that means to be a king or a queen or to be royal every single day of your life, and to be accountable and to show up. Because you take it in a whole nother direction, man. The world needs more kings and queens. The world needs more people to step up, especially when it's not your people. And you see people getting snatched every day, kidnapped, human trafficking. We need more people that are going to get involved. As I say, get in the ditch with people. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you about Changing the Narrative, I think is really cool, is that it does not end when I go and speak. I stay afterwards. I hug players, kings and queens. I put my Twitter up. They follow me. I follow them. It gives us a safe place to DM and to communicate. And it makes me just another resource for the school. So somebody's in trouble, I can reach out to the school. I can lead them towards resources, towards professional help. Listen, I'm in therapy myself. It's super helpful for me. So, one of the things that's really amazing are these ongoing relationships. I've been to one of my king's weddings. I've gotten newborn pictures from the delivery room from another. I've even gotten a couple of phone calls in the middle of the night from young men that were in and queens that were in really scary places that I've been in. And we were able to direct them to get help. Professional help was able to connect them ASAP. But I treasure these encounters, these relationships. And it means everything to me. When a player calls and says or messages me and says, I just need some advice, or I didn't know who to turn to, or what would you do here, Miss Rachel, or what about this relationship, or I was unfairly accused of this, and will you talk to me about this? And so for me, these relationships mean everything to me, and they are the lifeblood. I tell these players all over the country, I tell them, I'm a lifer. I will be here for you for as long as you let me be in your life. And how I knew that I knew in my soul that it was time to put down the microphone from a sportscasting perspective and go all in 1,000% on changing the narrative. Was when after a football game, I have more joy when I get to hug a big smelly football player, one of my kings, or see one of my queens. I have more joy seeing them and looking in their face and saying, you're a king, you're a queen, I believe in you. Calling greatness out of somebody. When those interactions bring me more joy than going into, as for many years it did, going into a press conference and asking questions of a coach and doing a package or putting together, a piece of work or going on the air on Sirius, which I'm so grateful because 17 years of sportscasting has led to this. But I just wanted to give you a glimpse of that. It does not end there. It doesn't end with the talk. I have these existing relationships with these kings and these queens, and I feel so honored to be in their life. I feel so honored to get to lead them and guide them and shepherd them and just be an ear. And just pray for them and tell them, listen, you've got a friend in me, and point them to the resources they need to be. And so just wanted to give you a little behind the scenes look and peek behind the curtain of what happens with changing the narrative and how the relationships keep going. And also what it looks like to dive in headfirst into something that you were called to do, and telling fear you are a liar. And having incredible faith that this is what I was supposed to do. And let me tell you something, big, amazing things are coming, because we're just scratching the surface with changing the narrative. We're just in year 3. We celebrated our 3-year anniversary August 16th. And so there's so many other things and big things that we're going to be doing. And just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to take a moment to share my heart and my passion and say thank you for the support. We couldn't do it without you guys.